feeling maybe a little bit nervous, but excited, and that's normal. That means you're human. Good.
This event today is the culmination of many months of hard work for our teachers and our students.
Whether you spoke today or you spoke in front of your class, every single one of you has done a fantastic job preparing for TASIS Speaks. And there's something really important that we all need to remember. Whether you're up here and you're waiting to find out if you won, or if you gave a fantastic speech in front of your class, there's some things we need to remember, so repeat after me. I am brave. I am strong. I am smart. I am kind. I belong. I am good looking.
All students, everyone gathered here, should be commended, first for their hard work, but particularly for their courage to put themselves on stage and be judged by their peers.
Good morning, my name is Amelia. In grade 1, Alba will be talking about endangered animals. Julia will be talking about growth mindset. And Eli will be talking about his favorite fairy tale. We hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Alba. I want to talk about the Lear's macaw. The Lear's macaw is a bird that lives in South America in the rainforest. Here are some fun facts about the Lear's macaw. Number 1, they are bright blue. Number 2, they are beautiful. And number 3, they are omnivores. I am sad to tell you that the Lear's macaw is endangered. This means that they are nearly extinct. There are less than 50,000 left in the wild. Lots of animals are endangered because people are destroying their habitat. If we don't act now, one day there might not be any animals left in the wild. Save the Lear's macaw.
That the story of Rumpelstiltskin is about 4,000 years old. I think that Rumpelstiltskin is the best fairy tale. Rumpelstiltskin is a little man who turns straw into gold for a princess. But there's always a catch. The princess always has to give him something, like a ring, a necklace, or even a baby. The first reason why Rumpelstiltskin is the best is that it's way older than anyone here. It's believed to be about 4,000 years old. Back then they didn't have technology, so they had to remember the story, then they could tell it to their children and keep the story alive. Next, Rumpelstiltskin is an interesting character. Rumpelstiltskin is always sneaky and surprising people in the story. He always wants something from people. Lastly, I think that it's good because it's fun to read. In the story, they turn straw into gold. I think this is cool, and I wish I could turn straw into gold. I would buy a car. What would you buy? I strongly believe that Rumpelstiltskin is the best fairy tale. Don't you agree it's fun to read, it's really old, and Rumpelstiltskin is a funny character? This is why I think that Rumpelstiltskin is better than any fairy tales.
Hello. My name is Julia and I'm in class 1A. At the beginning of grade 1, I couldn't do addition with regrouping. Now I can do addition and subtraction with regrouping. I had a growth mindset and never gave up. Having a growth mindset is important. Growth mindset is when your brain is exercising when you do hard things. When your brain exercises, it grows. It is also good because it means to challenge yourself. Growth mindset means your work gets easier because your brain grows. A fixed mindset makes you give up, but a growth mindset means you keep on trying until you find the answer. I hope you liked learning about growth mindset. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Assisi St. George, and I'm going to introduce some people. First, I'm from 2A, and Their names are Vivian and Julie and Aaliyah. Vivian is gonna do a field trip to America, and Julie's gonna talk about why she shouldn't smoke, and Aaliyah is gonna try and persuade her parents to do a camping trip in California. I hope you enjoy.
You can see. Dear Mr. Shipquin, my name is Vivian, and I have to share the best idea with you. We should go on a trip to a different country with our mums and dads. So imagine that we went to America. We could learn about the Native Americans. Imagine hearing the kids talk about the field trip. Imagine feeling how excited we would feel. We would love to see all the incredible sights like the Statue of Liberty. Imagine seeing all the cool shops in a department store. Imagine tasting different food in America. Imagine smelling the delicious, tasty food. We would have so much fun with our friends, learning something new everywhere we go. It would be my dream. I would love to go. It would be so exciting. You should come. I hope you consider my idea because it's the best. From Vivian, grade 2A.
Dear smokers, my name is Julie, and I think smoking should be banned for everyone. Think about it. Does smoking help you in any way? First, smoking is bad for you. Really, really bad. If you're curious about it, then take an x-ray of your lungs. They will be black. Isn't that scary? Secondly, it makes you smell bad. If you smoke or with someone that smokes, and you notice a bad smell, it's probably a smoking sense. Thirdly, it's bad for the environment. If you ever see someone smoking, try and look for fumes of smoke. That smoke is one of the causes of global warming. Finally, you get addicted. This is probably the worst reason of all. It combines all of the reasons together to make you do it more and more. I hope you're convinced to stop smoking. The next time you think about smoking, try not doing it or see a doctor for some help.
We should have an overnight camp to California every summer because it's in America and this is an American school. Also, your parents will get a week of relaxation and you get to learn about the city. You also get to spend more time with your friends and teachers. Sometimes it's nice to stay somewhere overnight without your parents and with your friends. It's also a great place. It's good to explore different countries too. We get more time to learn. It would be exciting and fun. We could make postcards about the city. Last but not least, you'll get to go to the coolest place in the whole wide world. That is why I think that we should go to California in the summer.
Good morning, TASIS special guests and TASIS friends. My name is Leticia Silveira, and today I have the privilege of introducing our grade 3 speakers. And the grade 3s enjoyed the opportunity to select 1 out of 5 possible topics in preparation for today's event. These topics allowed us to explore our favorite storybook characters, pets, passions, interests, and inspiration. Christoph Beig was asked if he could have any pet in the world, what would it be? Amelia Mouchant will share her passion for horse riding. And Mariana Pinto will share a very special superpower. I'm sure that once you listen to them, you'll agree that they certainly did a wonderful job. Now, please join me in giving them a warm TASIS welcome.
Good morning, TASIS family and friends. If I could choose any pet in the world, it would be the hermit crab. Did you know that hermit crabs are not really hermits? At first, I thought they were similar to me because my astrological sign is Cancer.
the crab, and I love to be a hermit on rainy days. Then I discovered they are very social, the opposite of hermit, and are not even considered true crabs. Unlike true crabs, hermit crabs have soft, vulnerable abdomens. I was pleased to learn that hermit crabs do have similar traits to me. 1, they are omnivorous. 2, they crawl into their shells when they feel threatened. When I feel unsafe, I crawl into a ball. 3, they move 4 inches per second, and I can definitely do that. Some interesting facts about hermit crabs are: 1, they don't have uniformly hard exoskeletons. 2, they cannot grow their own shells, which is why they are always house hunting for new ones. And 3, they can live between 15 to 25 years, much longer than other domestic animals like dogs and cats. 4, they make funny croaking sounds that sound like this. Scientists are researching if this is a form of communication. I hope my mom will allow me to have a hermit crab one day so I can watch it climb and dig in the night because they are nocturnal creatures. But since we have about 20 fish in our tank to take care of, I doubt it. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Good morning. My name is Amelia. I'm a student of grade 3A. Today I'm going to tell you all about one of my passions, horse riding. Horse riding has been something I loved since I was 6 years old. It was one of the first activities I did here in Portugal after moving from New York City. I started riding every Saturday and I really enjoyed it. I eventually got very good at riding, so I went to a higher level, jumping. One day, during a jumping competition, a girl fell off her horse. I had never seen such a hard fall. I realized that could easily happen to me. I became so afraid I no longer wanted to ride. 2 years later, I traveled to Argentina to spend Christmas with my mother's family. We spent a few days at her family farm. I was so excited to finally spend time with my Argentine cousins. I quickly realized horse riding was a big deal in Argentina. Even my youngest cousin was 5 years old would gallop through the fields. Although I still felt super scared, I was determined to get back on a horse. And with the encouragement of my family, I did it. Today, I still feel like I want to continue horse riding. Maybe not to compete, but because I feel like it is an important part of my culture as a half Argentine girl. Thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Let's talk about dyslexia. Hi, my name is Mariana, and I'm in grade 3A. I'm here to talk about dyslexia. Dyslexia is a different way of seeing and understanding the world around us. Sometimes people with dyslexia have a difficult time reading and writing because they have troubles with letters and sounds. They can find it difficult what they want to say. Often, they switch a letter within a word. But you know what they say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But when life gives you melons, you might have dyslexia. Thinking differently can be a really good thing. Dyslexia also allows people to do things that other people can't do so easily, like envisioning, building things, solving problems, figuring out how things work, and telling stories. Do you like movies? Who doesn't? Thank those many actors with dyslexia for making your movies, like Tom Holland from Spider-Man, Orlando Bloom from the Pirates of the Caribbean, Daniel Radcliffe from the Harry Potter movies, and there's also this really famous movie director called Steven Spielberg, who directed the movies Jurassic Park, E.T., the VFG, and lots more amazing movies. They're all dyslexic. People with dyslexia have difficulty reading and writing, but they also have really creative minds. Some people think it's a superpower to have dyslexia, and I agree. Thank you.
Hello, TASIS Elementary and parents. I am Peter, and I will be your grade 4 MC. Up first, today you have the honor of listening to 3 amazing speeches by my peers. Up first, Beatrice. She will be...
Hello, my name is Beatrice. I'm in 4A, and today I will be also talking about the growth mindset and how important it is to have one. What is a growth mindset? How do you know you have a growth mindset? And can you change your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? Pay attention to the words growth and mindset. A growth mindset is when you have the belief that your brain can grow, just like a tree. Starts as a small and weak sapling and ends as a big and wise tree. When you have a growth mindset, you think positive. If I practice enough, I might just get it. You know that you can learn from your mistakes. The opposite of a growth mindset is a fixed mindset. It's unpleasant to have a fixed mindset because you think that you can't. It's unpleasant to have a fixed mindset because you think that if you can't do something right now, you never will, which is not true. When you believe this, it truly does affect the way you feel and do things during the day. Now that you know a little bit about both of the mindsets, which one do you think you have? A fixed mindset or a growth mindset? You may be wondering when I have had a growth mindset. Well, I've had a growth mindset when once in math I couldn't understand a thing. I thought I might as well just quit. But then I realized that I was using a fixed mindset. So I decided to think positive. Focus and try to figure out what the teacher is saying, I said to myself. Later on that lesson, I understood perfectly and raised my hand every time the teacher had a question. Another time I had a growth mindset is when I was learning to ride roller skates. My dad bought them for me and I couldn't wait to try them on. But then I realized skating is much harder than it looks like. I keep on falling, scratching myself, and even accidentally bumping myself into the walls. I'm going to quit, I said, and yet again I realized that I was using a fixed mindset. Let's try to think positive, I said to myself. If I practice enough, I can do this. A very important word to use is yet. I can't do this yet. I don't understand yet. It helps you realize that if you can't do this right now, maybe later you can. When have you had a growth mindset? To deal with challenging situations when people say mean things about me, I used to believe in them and finish off my day in a bad mood. But now, I simply ignore them. Back to the question, can you change your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? The answer is yes. If you try your hardest to say positive things to yourself, and know that if you fail once and try your hardest next time, you might just get it right, then yes, you can. As a closure to my TASIS speech, it is important to have a growth mindset because it helps you think positive, do your things with more dedication, it helps you stay more cheerful. My mission is to always have a growth mindset and help people learn to have them so that little by little we can all have growth mindsets and this world can become a better place. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Next, we have my classmate, Hannah, performing a poem about her home country, Ireland. Listen for a few words of yellow.
Ireland in My Words, by me, Hannah Galvin. The rain is falling, the wind is howling, the sky is grey, looks like no plans today. Welcome to Ireland, Céad Míle Fáilte, where houses are warm and the fire is open. The spuds are on, and so is Mammy's stew. Ireland, the place of sheep eat green grass, redheads, and don't forget to go to Mass. Lucky you if you see the leprechauns. Don't forget, if you see a rainbow, look for a pot of gold at the end. I'm sure you would agree from the Book of Kells to seeing our poet president, Michael D on TV, Ireland is the best place to be. Irish dancing, playing GAA, rugby and football too. Come on, the boys in green. And don't forget, St. Patrick's Day Parade is the place to be seen. Slánga Fóill.
Finally, Scarlett will speak about how we can stop global warming.
Good morning, TASIS Elementary. My name is Scarlett Bailey and I'm from 4C. Today I'll be talking about climate change. Did you know that climate change is the greatest threat to human civilization? Not Voldemort, not an alien invasion, and definitely not your younger brother. Climate change is a long-term shift in weather patterns. It's caused by pollution and high levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide, which are produced by use of fossil fuels such as exhaust from cars, trash burning, and factory emissions. In a sense, we are literally cooking ourselves into the extinction of human life. If we do not try to make a difference and slow down climate change, severe damage will take place. For instance, glaciers could melt, causing sea levels to rise. Droughts will increase, and more severe storms might occur. Our ecosystems are dying because of us. And not only will humans become extinct, but the animals and Earth itself. All around us, we see a world that is perfect for us, but is it? We tell ourselves that we are doing the best we can to help the world and its people, but are we? We say we care about climate change and pollution, but do we? We can be selfish, and if we want our help our people and the world around us, we need to step up our pace, because climate change will not slow down on its own. And if we do step our pace, there will be hope. The world could be a place everyone wants. Our ecosystems would grow like fire, and our health would shine like a star. Climate change is happening because of us, and if we do not act now, it will be too late. Thank you for listening.
And they have written a series of beautiful speeches that they are going to present now, starting with Louisa and her speech about talents.
Talents. Everybody has a special ability that turns their dreams into reality. Talents are like snowflakes. They're all different and unique. You have a talent in you. You have a talent to prove. My friend is a dancer. Time to time, I ask him, why that? He doesn't have an answer. He lets the happiness flow within. Feel the music, dance, even if you're not going to win. Without knowing what's around, he will always dance, like if dancing was his last chance. He always knows the rhythm and dances with precision. I wish I could be like him. My friend is an artist. She draws so much, looks like a specialist. She always painting lovely pictures, creating some new mixtures. She will paint like flowers in spring. She will begin. She knows all colors. If she needs, she will use glue. She will be an artist, it's true. My friend is a writer. She writes a letter and makes it better. Always knows a secret in a book. Knows the perfect catch for your hook. She's always trying to create something new. She will try once, will try twice. Oh wow, she is pretty wise. And even if there's not a prize, I know she will always rise. My friend is an actress. She passes through times that are dark. However, she still has the same heart. When she's in stage, she truly understands. She tries to be perfect for her fans. Sometimes she gets judged. However, she is still encouraged. She wants to be a star. She wants to be in the spotlight, where the famous are. And it's not because of fortune and fame. It's because it's her dream, and I won't blame. They're also talented and dedicated to their dream. What about me? What's my dream? All I know is it will take time to train, but it will not be in vain. It will take long, it's true. However, don't be so blue. Someday, you'll find your way.
To follow Louisa's beautiful speech about talents, we're going to have Mark talking about the environment. Andre talking about the time he went to London and learned about climate change.
During spring break, I spent a week in London with my parents. One morning, walking in Hyde Park, we passed a place called Speaker's Corner, where anyone can make a speech about any subject. There were lots of people gathering around, holding banners saying, "End fossil fuels now." A few days later, I understood why. We were walking on Baker Street when hundreds of people started to walk down the street with megaphones and banners we had seen at Hyde Park. When they got to a large square near our hotel, they sat down at the intersection and started making speeches. This got me thinking. We are making great scientific progress. We are making AI, electric cars, etc. But we are also greatly harming the planet. We are releasing a lot of fossil fuel emissions. This can cause the greenhouse effect. Now, the greenhouse effect is basically when heat from fossil fuel emissions gets trapped in the atmosphere of the planet. If we keep polluting the air with harmful gases, many wildlife habitats will be destroyed. Economic growth depends on fossil fuels. Now, we know that this is happening, but countries keep doing this. World leaders must be pressured to honor climate pledge. Many countries are preparing for a low-carbon future. MIT Technology Review Insights says that Portugal is 18th place of 72 countries on the Green Future Index 2022. This is a global problem. This happens in every country. It might be slow, but we can find a way to end fossil fuel use forever. About pollution, we are also polluting the ocean. Turtles are mainly harmed by this. They eat plastic, get trapped, and die. We can help stop water pollution by stopping to litter on the ocean floor and dumping oils in the ocean. I hope that in the future we don't have to depend on fossil fuels. We are slowly but surely killing the planet. This planet is a blessing. We can't destroy it for our own gain. Now, let's think about this. We are the smartest species on the planet, but sometimes we act like that's not the case. We have the ability to stop this global disaster. We should use our logic and eradicate climate change for good. I'm glad that more countries are thinking about this and preparing to use less carbon. We have a great future for mankind ahead of us, and climate change is harming many other life forms other than us. So we can't let climate change ruin the future of the Earth. Here's a fact. Did you know that the last decade was the hottest in 125,000 years? I think we all understand the effects of climate change. If you do, think about it more, like I did in London. If you can contribute to helping stop climate change, please do. Remember, we all have our part in this. Thank you.
Last but not least, we have Laura presenting on how to have a positive impact on your life.
Have you ever experienced a very embarrassing moment, one that you were not prepared for? Or have you ever passed through a moment when you needed to answer an especially important question and it seemed like you needed to study to get that question right? Life is like a test where the answers are actions, and that's why we need to take care of our actions and think about them. Some of the decisions that we make are awful, and those decisions are equivalent to giving a wrong answer in your life. But some of our other choices are positive, and those are right answers. People should think twice before they do something negative. A mean word, for example, can hurt someone really badly, and a disrespectful action can ruin someone's self-esteem. On the contrary, some actions can make someone's day very happy. For example, a compliment can bring a smile, and a kind action can make someone's day wonderful. Life is always testing you. You can pass the test by making positive decisions, giving off good vibes, good thoughts, and more. Sometimes we do things that are wrong to help someone, and that is considered a good action. However, if that action is awfully bad and includes hurting another person, then you should think twice before you do it. Mistakes. A mistake is something that every single human being makes. Some mistakes we cannot erase from our lives, whether they're ours or someone else's. There are several types of mistakes. Some mistakes can be actions, answers, words, and more. If you hurt someone with a word, an action, it is also important that the person who's mad at you at least tries to forgive you or your mistakes. A choice is something that we make in our lives, which can guide us to a good path or a bad path. Making choices in our lives is very important, even though some choices are bigger and harder than others. Thanking others. Some words can make a big difference in our days. For example, the words thank you. Saying thank you to someone can make that person happy and feel that what that person did is important to you. Note, never forget that life is the best test in the world, and the best way to get an A is to be happy.
Hi, I'm Sophie Tornes, and I'm here to introduce the students that will be talking in TASIS Speaks for Grade 6. All three finalists have drastically different topics, and all their speeches are brilliant and unique. We should all be proud of ourselves and others for presenting our own speeches to our classes last week. I'll be honest, I was very nervous presenting my speech, and it was only in front of my class. So we should all be extremely proud of the people who were selected to publicly speak in front of the whole middle school today. For grade 6, I don't know if I'll say the last names right, but for grade 6, the speakers are Loa Bachman, who will be talking about her unfortunate skiing incident, Alexis Gabriel, telling a meaningful story about how our mental health is like a fragile piece of paper, and Lara Bavia, who is going to read us a poem about obstacles. Thank you.
My skiing incident. Before I start, has anyone ever had planned a great time but then ended up having a disaster? Well, I'm here to tell you about what happened to me. 1 year ago, my parents had the idea that when we visit my cousins in Austria, we go skiing with them. That was a good idea until this day of skiing. Me, my cousin, and my little sister had just skied the mountain, and we're about to go up on this weird-looking lift. It looked like a bicycle's handlebar, with a rope dividing it in the middle. You had to hold on to it, and it would pull you super slowly up the mountain. There was absolutely no way you could fall off. But, of course, the amazing accident for me found a way for not only me, but for others to fall off too. I was having a great time, occasionally bumping into my poor sister. Okay, maybe more than occasionally, but she was overreacting. Oh my god, I'm gonna fall. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. It's not gonna happen. Suddenly, my ski got stuck in the deep snow, but I still stubbornly held on to the lift. The lady behind us was yelling at me and my sister with her son looking bemused. She was yelling at us in German. I had no idea what she was saying. It sounded like, Achtung, it ist geworden. Suddenly,
My ski couldn't take any more pressure and snapped off my boots. Unfortunately for the lady behind me, my ski flew off and hit her in the knee, sending her skidding down the mountain. Her little boy let go of the lift and slid down the mountain with his skis in the shape of a triangle, yelling, "Mama!" I could continue, but that would take 10 minutes. Now, I was holding onto the lift, with one ski on, keeping my heavy boot up in the air. I finally lost my balance, gave up my ski, tripped, hit my sister in the ankle, sent her flying, all in 3 seconds. To think about it now, I must be Superman's failed twin. His powers are to fly and that stuff, but I can make people fall off a ski mountain. That would come in handy if I were chasing gangsters on a ski mountain. But enough about my amazing superpowers. At this point, I was arguing with the inanimate lift about kicking her off. You shouldn't have kicked her off, I argued. She's going to tell my parents. They're going to end me. Of course, because lifts do not speak, it didn't respond. I got so angry, I just let go of the lift. I heard some screaming. Someone was about to come and run me over. So I dived face first into the snow, seconds before the person behind me turned me into Louis Slop. I grumpily stomped down the hill, where I saw lots of people grumbling over my skis, and some people at the bottom of the hill. Then I heard someone say in English, "If I get my hands on this person," and then I ran. Therefore, you should always check if your skis are on correctly, or else what happened to me might happen to you. Thank you.
Next, we have Alexis Gabriel telling us a story about how our mental health is like a fragile piece of paper.
Your mental health is a neat piece of paper. Picture a brand new piece of paper. It's clean and flat. Now I want you to take that piece of paper to your first day of school. Your teacher tells you to draw a picture of your dream dog, but now your piece of paper is no longer clean. When you are in the playground, you put your piece of paper on the ground so you don't lose it, but people keep stepping on it, leaving dark, dirty footprints varying from people's shoes. At the end of the day, you go home and your mom helps you erase the picture of your dog and straighten out the crumpled parts from where people stood on it, but people's footprints were left behind. You were happy that it looked better, but it didn't look as good as it did at the start of the day. Now picture the piece of paper you've always had, and you took to kindergarten every day, and every day you erased marks and straightened out the paper with your mom. But now you must go to a new school for your first day of elementary school. You are nervous because you don't know anyone, but as soon as you get to maths class, you get along with your table partners, which makes it easier. Halfway during your calculations, you get annoyed because you don't know how to do the work, which causes you to press too hard and make a hole in your paper. This makes you even more annoyed, which puts you in a bad mood for the rest of the day. When you go home at the end of the day, once again, you erase the marks and straighten out your paper, but you can't get rid of the hole from where you poked it with your pencil. The piece of paper you've always had starts to look scarred. The older you get, and the more places you take it. Even though you can always fix small things that have happened to your paper, your piece of paper never goes back to the way it was when you first got it. And you always try to get your piece of paper as clean as possible, but after a while, it becomes a lot of work to keep your piece of paper clean. Taking care of your piece of paper and knowing where to take it and where not to take it can slowly evolve your paper to become as close as possible to what it looked like when you first got it. In fact, it could be completely clean and flat again. But the marks that used to be there are not always forgotten. A lot of the time, they're not even there, but the memory are never forgotten. Thank you.
Finally, we have Lara Bavia, is that how you say it? Bavia, who is going to read us a poem about opposites.
You know that feeling when you're trying to focus on your work, but your classroom sounds like a zoo? Fortunately, I don't know that feeling, as my classmates are very polite animals. I mean, people. However, However, I have heard that these types of scenarios are very common in classrooms. But if you think about it, as pleasing as silence can be, noise is very important. Without noise, there wouldn't exist talking. And how else can you tell your annoying brother to mind his own business? I mean, learn and study. I looked at the relationship of these two things and thought they were similar with life and different sides of it. They are complete opposites, but cannot live without each other. I wrote these poems to show this interesting. For those reasons, these are 3 poems that are meant to be read together. One about noise, another one about silence, and the last one about how they unite. Noise. Noise is something delicate, as it is both beloved and despised. Noise fills our lives constantly, even when it's unwanted. It just manages to sneak in. Sometimes all we want is silence, so we yell. But it's never enough to quell the inescapable but essential and beautiful chaos that are the sounds of life. Silence. I like the silence. In the noisiness of life, silence allows you to take a break. To some, silence is deafening. To me, silence is a beautiful melody. In a noisy classroom, all my thoughts are clouded by sound. In the silence, I can hear all my steps and quiet down the ear-shattering sounds of life. But my brain fights. My heart says things my brain does not understand. While my heart sails at sea, my brain stays at land. How do you make your ideas free and your emotions rational? How do you accomplish all of your goals without abandoning your soul? Should we let our emotions be or bury them deep so no one can see? How do you cherish the silence without forgetting the joys of noise? Those are the questions that unite my brain and heart to think as one and become my unperfect life. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Edo. Some of you know me, others don't. As of a few days ago, every student has participated in the annual TASIS Speaks competition. But what is TASIS Speaks, and what does it mean to our school? TASIS Speaks is the best occasion for every student in this campus to express their ideas, thoughts, and even hobbies. This year gifted us with plenty of fantastic topics. They made us laugh, think, and they also taught us new facts. Now I can brag about my vast knowledge regarding bees. Of course, like every year, not everyone can win the competition and present in front of a huge crowd like we all dream of. Rather, only 3 of the sometimes initial 20 presenters can later move on to the finals. And my job today is to present these wonderful writers, our finalists. Now please, let's give a round of applause to the 7th grade finalists. Today we will be starting off with Isabel Pinto and her speech about why failure is a key to success. Go Isabel!
Could you imagine living in a world without Disney? Did you know that Walt Disney, the founder of Disney, was fired from the Kansas City Star because his editor felt like he lacked imagination and good ideas? But now, he's the founder of a multi-billion-dollar empire based off of imagination, which is why I'm going to talk about why failure is a key to success. So, how does me failing and failing over and over again lead me to success? The thing is that with every failure, every mishap, every mistake we make, there's a lesson along with it. Every time we learn something new that will put us on the right track to success. People tend to think that if they fail, they can never succeed. They think failure is definitive. I'll tell you something, it's not. If doing the action of experimenting or testing a hypothesis doesn't come out perfect or how we expected it to, is it still a failure? Is it better than not trying at all? Failure brings us the opportunity to learn, to reconsider, to rethink, and eventually it will bring us to success if we persevere. Failing is inevitable. As humans, as people, as living beings, we are all bound to fail. But instead of taking that failure as if it were a step backwards, we should take it as if it were a step forward. It's important to focus on a successful outcome, but the failures are equally, if not more, important. Winston Churchill once said, "Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." The Oxford Dictionary describes fail as to not be successful in achieving something. But failing isn't only not being successful, it's coming closer to success, and makes success just that much better, knowing that after trial and attempt, you have finally succeeded. Failure shouldn't define us. It should make us stronger, better, smarter people. J.K. Rowling was rejected 12 times before a publisher published Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. But what if she had just given up, accepted that she wasn't good enough to be a published author, called her book a failure? Then I wouldn't have her books on my bookshelf right now, and neither would 120 million other people. But we all do, because she took those rejections as a learning curve and not a reason to quit. Or Oprah Winfrey, she was publicly fired from her first television job, but she did not give up. She knew her worth. And now, she's worth an astonishing $5 billion. Imagine if she had just given up. Then she wouldn't be anywhere near where she is today. She grew up in poverty and is now famous and living her best life. Or myself. Last year, I participated and wasn't chosen for TASIS Speaks. But I picked myself back up, and when this year came, I wrote my speech with even more ambition. And if this year I succeed, it's because I learned from last year. And if I don't, then I'll try again next year. Failure can teach you so many things, but only if you accept it. If you reject it, you learn nothing. So don't be afraid to fail. Think of it as one step closer to success. And in the words of J.M. Barrie, we are all failures. At least the best of us are.
Thank you, Isabel. Now, how about another round of applause for her, please? Now, actually, I do agree with her subject. How many times did I go over the speech? Did I panic? Of course, but never did I give up. I am here right now. But great job, Isabel. You certainly didn't fail this. Okay, now, how much do you know about our Earth? Due to Abby's speech, I probably know more than you guys. Another brag. Thanks, Abby. So, a round of applause to Abigail Goddard and her speech about the beginning of the Earth. Shake the stage, Abby, like how the earthquake shook Earth.
From the boiling, hot core of the Earth to the sun that lets all life live, our Earth is more than 4.5 billion years old. 100 years feels like such a long time, but it's just a tiny snippet in Earth's history. Or one person may feel like they have a huge impact on us, when they are one of almost 8 billion. We live on this beautiful planet, and it's only right to wonder how it all began. Today, I will try and walk you through what scientists believed happened to bring us to where we are today. The beginning of the solar system. It all started when a giant molecular cloud collapsed, and hydrogen and helium created the sun. It released gas and particles. That was the first step. After millions of years, this included moons, asteroids, and other small bodies. There was no longer an empty void in the universe, because there stood our solar system. The first stages of Earth. Hadean occurred from 4.6 to 4 billion years ago. Since no rocks are that old, it is not a geological period. The name came from Greek god Hades, thought to be the ruler of the underworld. The common perception of the underworld described the awful conditions of Earth in the Hadean era.
Imagine a planet covered in hot, molten lava and extreme seismic activity. Constant collisions of meteorites and temperatures around 230 degrees Celsius. Although the first stages of Earth are very unknown, it is supposed that the Moon was created by a collision of objects as big as Earth and Mars. Then Earth's geological periods began. Archean was next eon. It started around 4 billion years ago and went on for about 2.5. Most importantly, the first rocks and continents were formed during this time. It is believed that 5 to 40% of the continents that are still here today were created in the Archean. Have you ever been to India, South Africa, or Australia? Well, then you might have been on Ur. You might be wondering, what is an Ur? Well, Ur existed 3.1 billion years ago and was the first completely developed continent to ever exist on Earth. And that's just one of the life-changing things that happened during this period. The first biological organism is believed to live 3.7 billion years ago with cells just like us. Life on Earth was mainly prokaryotic, single-celled organisms, and anaerobic due to the weak atmosphere. But there was one bacteria that had a huge impact on today. Cyanobacteria produced oxygen, and over billions of years, it increased the oxygen levels on Earth, evidently leading to a new geological age. The Paleozoic era. This was a time period when Earth's life began to flourish. First came the hard-shelled invertebrates, then fish and more invertebrates. Eventually, fish species moved to land. They were the ancestors of every eukaryote, more than one-celled organism, that lives on land, including us. I bet you know about the meteorite that killed off the dinosaurs, but I bet you didn't know about the meteor which wiped out 96% of marine life and 70% of land life. But I mean, imagine how crowded it would be if it didn't hit. This ended the Paleozoic era and brought us to the Mesozoic era, which most people know as the dinosaur age, which also ended in another meteor. Then came the Cenozoic era, where mammals took over and the development of humans began. We are still believed to be in the Cenozoic era, but many scientists wonder if we have hit a new time. I hope you've learned something today, and the next time you stand on this beautiful planet, remember, you are a part of something so amazing, it's gone on for billions of years. It's so special, it survived meteors and still brought back life. So, in the words of L.M. Wilt, when we honor the earth, we honor ourselves. Thank you.
Amazing job, Abby, but now I guess that we're on the same level of geography. However, let's all cheer for her again. Now, finally, let's welcome Gabriel Earn to the stage with his speech about taxation, which has also been in the news lately. Am I the only one noticing that prices have gone up? However, bring it on, Gabriel, and spare me some of those Oreos, please.
Do you think your Oreos should be more expensive tomorrow? Did you know that in the last 20 years, the obesity rates in the United Kingdom grew by 33%? Today, more than 64% of the UK population is overweight, and almost 1/3 of this number is obese. This means 1 in every 5 people is obese, which represents 12.4 million people, bigger than the whole population of Portugal, and this only in the UK. These 12 million people cost the health system a lot of money, as being obese leads to a series of health problems which the government will have to pay for. These numbers are concentrated in lower income families and teenagers. Did you know that 12 to 24-year-olds consume the most sugary foods? Did you know that some products contain hidden sugars, including some you would even consider to be sweet? Some examples are low-fat yogurt, barbecue sauce and ketchup, spaghetti sauce and sports drink, granola and flavored coffees like Starbucks, iced tea, pre-made soup, breakfast cereal, and other canned food. One of the reasons for this overconsumption of unhealthy products is cost, the price. For example, in Supercore upstairs, 1 kilo of Bolacha Maria or tea biscuits costs €1.50, when apples cost €3. That's the double. Fresh foods have a much higher price compared to processed foods. This is also why lower income families purchase foods of lower nutritional quality with higher sugar or fat. In the UK, once again, adults who earn less than £11,000 per year are 33% more likely to be obese than those who earn 4 times more. Processed food is attractive because it often comes in big quantities, is easier to prepare, and marketing campaigns always link this food to having a good time with family or friends. With obesity and diabetes at record levels, many public health experts believe that governments should increase taxes on unhealthy foods with high sugar or fat or carbohydrate content. So governments should take measures to discourage people from purchasing these foods. By increasing taxes of products, prices can get people to consume less of them, thus improving nutrition and health. The money made from these additional taxes can be used to reduce price on healthy foods, resulting in better options becoming more interesting for a similar price. Companies who had their products overtaxed would be encouraged to explore alternatives in reducing the sugar in what we eat and drink. And finally, these taxes would also allow the government to educate people about the risks of consuming these foods. These numbers are increasing dramatically, and actions should be taken urgently. So yes, your Oreos must be more expensive tomorrow. Thank you.
Great job, Gabriel. I guess from now on I won't be buying expensive and unhealthy food. Another round of applause. Now, unfortunately, after Gabriel, the 7th grade presentations have terminated. What a shame. But before leaving, I want to congratulate every single one of you guys. Amazing job. Every presentation I heard was worth listening to. But guys, you need to be honest. How satisfying is it to see all of these good presentations together? Even though you didn't get chosen, doesn't mean the speech was bad. This year was hard. There were so many good speeches. Imagine how hard the teachers worked to grade them. And if today taught you anything, as Isabel said, failure is the key to success. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Olivia, and this year grade 8 worked on persuasion speaking using logos, pathos, and ethos, which are techniques of persuasion that form a rhetorical triangle. We use these techniques to help write our speeches and have a clear goal set in mind. Coming up with ideas and actually putting them down on paper took a lot of effort, and I think you'll all enjoy these speeches. These 3 finalists were chosen by Mr. Brooks, including some input from the students. First off, we have Kiara Hornos giving her speech about how perfection is a harmful illusion.
Perfect. Something we have all strived to be. This word is hidden behind our fear of failure. It's webbed in between jealousy and slowly wears us down, making us feel like we're insufficient. We've all dreamed of having the perfect life and the perfect body, and I'm sure some of you have set your expectations too high, wanting to be this perfect person, but never being able to truly achieve it. Well, let me tell you something. Something we all know but don't truly acknowledge. Perfection isn't real. In fact, it's a harmful illusion. Something that alters your self-perception. Something that makes you feel as though you're never enough and will never be enough. Today, I will talk about the deeper meaning of perfection, how always aiming for it can cause actual damage, and what we can all do to take a step back and stop these sabotaging behaviors. First, let's talk about the meaning of perfection.
The Oxford Dictionary states that perfection is having all the required or desirable elements, qualities, or characteristics as good as it possible to be. Yet, what are these desirable elements? These qualities and characteristics? Well, the word perfect molds itself into each and every one of our brains. These characteristics become a mirror image of what we wished we could be. Although perfection alters with every one of us, society has created this definition of perfection. One with flawless skin, an amazing body, a person who has a great job that gives them a lot of money, and someone who can find love easily. Yet, who defines that this is what perfection truly is? Plato's theory of form says that perfection only exists in the realm of thought. It's something that's unattainable, something that's never existed, only been thought about. So, why do we all crave for it? Brennett Brown, a research professor at the University of Houston, says that many people try and achieve perfection because there's a belief that if you're perfect, you can minimize or avoid the pain of blame, judgment, and shame. This is because it's thought if you're flawless, there's nothing to critique. This causes people to attempt to reach this level of perfect that is used as a blanket to shield them from the awful realities of the world. We're all scared of others' opinions, but attempting to reach an impossible concept won't help. We all have flaws, and we all make mistakes. It's just part of being human, and we need to accept that. Next, I will talk about how striving for perfection can turn into an actual issue. Always wanting to be perfect has now almost become the norm for our generation and others. BBC Future says that as many as 2 in 5 kids are perfectionists, yet this shouldn't be the case. Always wanting to fit into this mold of perfect can be extremely harmful to our mental health. Medical News Today says that because of the excessive stress and anxiety caused by attempting to achieve these high standards, you might become severely depressed. Not only this, but now with the era of social media, comparing yourself to people who seem to be perfect occurs often. The media's definition of perfect is above all dangerous. Healthline.com apprises us that many people develop eating disorders to fit this ideal. This is extremely worrying, and bit by bit, the constant need for perfection is affecting people more and more. A meta-analysis by Thomas Curran from the University of Bath informs us that socially prescribed and other-oriented perfectionism has increased greatly over the past 27 years. Feral Mind said that this trait is often caused from parents setting extremely high expectations with the idea that their kid needs to be perfect in every aspect. This will not allow you to ever truly be happy with life, and instead of enjoying the simple things, you'll be constantly stressed and never happy with the conditions you're in. Well, after all, the real question is, how do we stop this from happening? How do we prevent these perfectionistic tendencies from taking a hold of our lives? I will now give you several ways to put a stop to always wanting to achieve perfection. Firstly, we need to comprehend the difference between a high achiever and a perfectionist. High achievers are those who set realistic goals for themselves and work hard to achieve them. They respect that they make mistakes and always do their possible best when able to. This is a healthy way to deal with life, a way to work for the best you can be without letting the fear of not being perfect interfere. Perfectionists, on the other hand, don't allow themselves to be any worse than anyone else. They push themselves past their limit, and it's mentally draining. Now I'll give you several ways to stop this. Firstly, allow yourself to make mistakes. It's part of being human. Instead of being upset, learn from them. Secondly, focus on the positives. The only way you'll truly be happy with your life is by being grateful for what you have. Also, lower the pressure you put on yourself. Wanting to do your best is great and good enough. You don't have to be perfect. Perfect. A harmful illusion that blinds so many of us. It blinds us from our goals and blocks our ultimate path to happiness. We, as a society, need to change our perspective on perfection. And we, as individuals, need to begin to take actions to prevent this need that envelops us in its ways. Next time you look in the mirror, I need you to realize how incredible you are, each and every one of you. And realize you are good enough. Because at the end of the day, perfection's what you make it. So find perfection in what you have.
Thank you very much, Kiara. That was amazing. There's a lot of emotion in that. Next, we have Tara Manar answering the question, is social media a necessary evil?
Social media a necessary evil. Is social media a necessary evil? Does it reflect on our daily lives? Whether this is in a positive or a negative manner is commonly argued upon in our society. Today, I'll elucidate why social media is necessary if we use it positively, considerately, and responsibly. First, I'll dive into why social media is good, followed by looking at why social media is bad, and finally, summing it all up. Social media has been around since the 1990s, a mere 30 years in the making, and has changed purpose over the past decade from a casual to significant information source. We are in the beginning of the technology age, and social media's role for this era is still developing and will continue to evolve. Currently, we are mostly using social media for communication, information, or for marketing, largely amplified as a result of COVID. During quarantine times and beyond, unemployed people turn to social media. According to New Vision, today, social media platforms such as LinkedIn and Glassdoor are one-stop shops for job seekers to find information that was previously unavailable. It is also a great communication tool. Social media has made it possible for people to connect with others. It also allows us to spread the latest information going on around the world. An excellent example is the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia, where certain media houses are censored. However, people are still able to tell the world their stories through social media platforms such as TikTok and Facebook. More and more companies have been using social media to market their products or to create awareness about issues. Week reports tells us that approximately 91% of retail brands and companies use at least 2 social media platforms to communicate and or reach out to their customers, and they also use social media as a part of their main marketing strategies. Now that we've looked at the positive side of social media, let's look at some of the negative. Why is social media bad? Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is sadly a very big challenge. According to Lifespan and StopBullying.gov, a research project from the Federal Statistics about cyberbullying in the United States tells us that every 7 minutes a child is bullied. 43% of kids have been bullied while online. Poor mental health is another complication supported by the Mayo Clinic's 2019 study of more than 12,000 13 to 16-year-olds in England found that using social media more than 3 times a day predicted poor mental health and well-being in teens. Another major challenge is the spread of fake news, as images and videos can be manipulated into what the publisher wants to portray. Nevertheless, although negative things do happen, social media depends on the user's caution, how they interact with others, plus their mindsets. For example, in Portugal, there are hundreds of Facebook and WhatsApp group chats, which help newcomers to settle into the country and help resolve any issues. People can get lost in endless hours of screen time on social media platforms, but they can also learn a lot of new things which can help them in their daily lives. Or they can learn about something that is very interesting, but had no idea it existed before that specific post. Imagine if humankind had resisted the Stone Age, Iron Age, or even the Industrial Age. We would not have the world the way it is. Social media is redefining the global landscape. It is a new phase of information, communication, and marketing. The time is here to embrace this new necessary evil. Thank you.
Okay, that was incredible, Tara. You definitely worked really hard on that. Finally, we have Mia Newell speaking on the topic of the benefits of the 4-day work week.
Let me ask you guys a question. Is anyone here tired And I'm not talking I stayed up playing Mario Kart till 3 a.m. tired. I'm talking tiredness acquired from years of toiling over homework, trying to focus on a class that's been going on too long, or stressing about succeeding in school. It gets exhausting. We weren't made for this. We weren't made to work for hours in a cubicle or live our lives on a tiny screen. Humans were built to be free, to explore and dream and be able to enjoy life. But this doesn't seem to be the case so much of the time, because we wake up and we work and we sleep and it's never ending. And though for many of you it might not seem all too bad right now, it's a daily grind that never stops. In this capitalist society that we have created, it's a lifetime of trying to manage too little time and soul-crushing monotony. This is no way to live, and yet it's how so many of us do, or will, including all of you. We have trapped ourselves in a cage, and we are complacent. So is that it? Do we work ourselves into oblivion for 60-odd years to hopefully retire and maybe enjoy what pitiful life we have left? Maybe, but not definitely, because we have a solution. The 4-day work week. Sounds like a dream, does it not? It's something us students have fantasized about for years, but always as a joke or as a wish groaned over too many pages of homework. But this idea, this potential new way of life, is not only a beautiful vision for the future, but a real possibility. So what is the 4-day work week exactly? In short, exactly what it sounds like. A work week with 32 hours over 4 days instead of 40 over 5. The idea behind it is that with one less day at work, people will be able to spend that time with their families, or doing hobbies, or creating something that matters to them, the things that make life worth living. According to a study by Deloitte, 91% of respondents report that extreme stress has a detrimental effect on the quality of their performance. And though we all know the adage, have a job that you love and you'll never work a day in your life, this is not typically the case. While 87% of surveyors say they have passion for their jobs, 64% still describe themselves as frequently stressed. At a time where so many people fear their jobs are taking over their lives, the 4-day work week can help to alleviate some of that stress and overworking. And I know what some of you are undoubtedly wondering. Wouldn't the 4-day work week have drawbacks, disadvantages? But not the lesser amount of time leads to lesser productivity, and therefore turn businesses off the idea? Well, one counterpoint is that one could absolutely be able to complete the same amount of work in 5 days as in 4 with the incentive of time off. Just think of all the time you spend in school, chatting to your friends, playing Tetris, and just generally wasting time. And imagine being able to trade that in for another day of freedom. In addition, the benefits gained by gaining more rest and such outside of work improves morale and motivation within work greatly. There is evidence to back this up, too. In 2019, a 4-year trial of the 4-day work week was conducted in Iceland, including more than 2,500 workers. Productivity was said to have remained the same or improved in most workplaces, and many workers stated that they felt less stress and risk of burnout. Microsoft also trialed a 4-day work week in its Japan offices. For all of August 2019, it gave all 2,300 of its employees Fridays off. The shorter weeks resulted in higher efficiency meetings, more content workers, and most impressively, boosted productivity by a full 40%. This evidence clearly points to the 4-day work week being a true and tested solution to so many of our modern woes, and one that benefits all, employers and employees alike. So we've established that the 4-day work week is a good idea. What now? We just wait for someone to come along and give us what we want? I sure hope not, for all of our sakes. This is our future, and we have the power to change it for the better. It is my hope that we can come together as a community and fight for what we deserve. Research this idea for yourselves. If your parents happen to be business owners, talk to them about it, or simply spread the word. Awareness is half the battle, so now that you are aware, you have the power to do something about it. Now that you know the possibilities a 4-day work week can offer, you can take advantage of them. Whatever happens in the future, wherever you go, don't sell yourself short and realize your worth. Do what you can and take what you deserve. Thank you.
that's the end of the speeches for grade 8. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and being a great audience. And wow, everyone, the bravery to be able to get up on the stage for a few minutes and present your ideas. They were all very captivating. Thank you once again.
We're incredibly proud of all of our students and all of the work that you've done. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And one more time to those on stage, you did it. Well done, nice job. One more round. Now, for the winners in each grade level, starting with grade 1, the judges have awarded Albert Meinig as the best speech. Grade 2 goes to Vivian Duarte. Grade 3 is awarded to Christoph Beik. And grade 4 to Hannah McAvoy-Galvin. All right, the moment we've been waiting for. The judges have deliberated, and in grade 5, they've selected Louisa. Grade 6, tough call. The judges chose Lara. Grade 7, judges chose Isabel. And in grade 8, Mia. One more round of applause to all of our finalists.